either, at least when you compared him to other billionaire owners. Like the NBA version of Moneyball, Holt, Popovich, and assistant general manager R.C. Buford had to think outside the box to find quality players, because they didn't want to overpay established stars, and they weren't a desired destination for top free agents. Even though the rest of the league looked at scoring and athleticism as primary values, the Spurs way was different. They've put more emphasis on attributes like players' intelligence, cultural fit, and the potential to learn. And because other teams weren't looking for these things, there was less competition for these players, who were available for less money. Other than scouting players in Europe, the Spurs also heavily relied on player development. While star players were certainly better if you wanted to win immediately, they often came with an ego. On the other end, when you get a player who still has to prove himself, then you could teach and mold him to buy into the team concept, which was one of the main postulates of the Spurs way. One of the Spurs' greatest assets has been Chip Engelland, the best shooting coach in the league, who morphed many players into great shooters. With Holt, Popovich, and Buford having tremendous working relationships and trust in one another, the franchise leadership was top-notch, far superior to other franchises, where owners, coaches, and general managers were often pulling in different directions. RC and I have done everything together, says Popovich. From day one, we've done everything together, and our groups have done everything together. Managers are in coaches' meetings, we're in the managers' meetings, and walk in as we please. We talk about it, argue about it, have a beer or wine, and move on. We've done it all together. With such a great structure at the top, the Spurs rarely missed the target in the draft, and they never added players who didn't have the necessary attributes for their system. And after they drafted Parker in 2001, they also added a second-year wing Steven Jackson and Bruce Bowen, who was the epitome of the Spurs' way of finding talent. Bowen went undrafted in 1993, and then bounced around Europe and the NBA for almost a decade, until the Spurs recognized that his gritty defense and shooting ability would fit like a glove next to Tim Duncan. And soon, Bowen would unofficially become the first 3-and-D player in NBA history. In the 2002 season, Tim Duncan had the best year of his career, averaging 25.5 points, 12.7 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and 2.5 blocks per game, finally winning an MVP award. But even though the Spurs won 58 games and had the second-best record in the NBA, they once again fell to the Lakers, losing 4-1 in the second round. After the 2002 season, R.C. Buford officially became the general manager of the franchise, adding a player who would prove to be one of the best draft choices in NBA history.
With the 57th selection, the San Antonio Spurs select Emmanuel Ginobili from Argentina.
Back in 1999, the Spurs drafted Manu Ginobili with the 57th pick. And just like with Tony Parker, nobody had any idea who Ginobili was.
I sit at home, I watch the draft, and we pick people that I've never heard of. Sitting there, Emmanuel Ginobili. Who did we just pick? I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be great. He's this, okay, Pop, whatever.
But in the next 3 years, Manu became the best player in Europe, winning every possible trophy in the second-best league in the world, and also leading Argentina to a silver medal at the 2002 FIBA World Cup, beating the USA in the group stage.